Great to have you on the show. Thanks very much for coming on, Dale Gorman.
Cheers, Michael. No problem.
Obviously, a Glentoran player. How have you found settling in at your club?
Aye, grand. I suppose I'm all settled in now, and the games have started up, so just getting into the flow of things, and no, I've settled in all right.
Because it's kind of funny. It's like, do you still say new club because you've been there long enough? But the way this year's been,
I suppose you do, but no, it's been like you said, it's been a weird old year. But thankfully now we're sort of coming to the end of it, and hopefully things start to change around now in the next few months.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say it hasn't been exactly the start of the season the club would have wanted. A little bit bumpier than maybe predicted. What's that been like for you as a player?
Aye, it's been sort of frustrating, I suppose. Coming back, I suppose we have a lot of new players and a lot of different options. Like, and it takes time, no matter what sort of team you have. But the start of the season, it's been frustrating, but I suppose there's not much we can do about it now. It's happened, and games have happened. It's down to us, I suppose, to turn things around. You've seen some glimpses of what we can do. You've seen some glimpses what we can't do. But hopefully, altogether, it does start coming into play consistently. Because that's the main thing. I mean, there's no point doing it one week and not doing it the other week. I think that's something we're sort of looking to focus on at the minute. Sort of bringing a bit of consistency in this, and picking up a string of results instead of one or two great results and then a bad result, and then you know carrying on to the next one.
Obviously, it's a team game, and I do want to talk about your teammates, but individually, it looks like in the last few matches you've really hit your own stride.
I have, to be fair. I'm actually enjoying it, and sort of. I think when you're playing football and you're enjoying it, it gets the best of you. I mean, I suppose I'm probably getting up to full fitness now and feeling sharp and confident, and um, I've sort of been playing a bit higher up as well, which I haven't really done in my career so far. So I'm actually enjoying that aspect of it too. Sort of that, not so much change your game, but sort of add things to your game that you probably don't do on a game to game basis. And no, like I said, I'm enjoying it. Sort of that sort of creative mindset sort of coming into me a bit, and I'm starting to create chances for others and create chances for myself. So no, I'm enjoying it, and I'm doing pretty well at the minute, thankfully.
It's obviously something that your manager and the coaches have seen in you. You didn't sort of take a wee bit of a nosebleed being in and around the 18-yard box as opposed to further back.
Oh well, normally, no, the last few years I probably would have, but no, like I said, it takes you a bit of time, I suppose, adapting to a new position. But thankfully, I've adapted quite quick, and I actually feel quite comfortable in there. So no, I'm quite happy with how it's going at the minute. And like I said, I sort of take every game as it comes, because I think if you look on to the next game and further on and sort of set objectives, and I need to score this many goals and need to set up this many goals, there's no point, because you're just putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. Like, you just take it game by game and sort of try and enjoy it, like, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, getting a goal in cup competition against Cliftonville, obviously nice to get yourself off the running, I guess, and get your first goal for the club in a competitive game. Is that something that the manager's looking at, maybe trying to get you in amongst the goals a bit more?
Aye, definitely. Like you said, it was good to score, obviously, early on. But no, the manager and the coaching staff sort of emphasise um, me sort of getting shots off as much as I can. I do a lot of work personally and training myself anyway. A lot of extra work, because it's something that probably previously I didn't do enough. And um, as a midfielder, if you can add goals to your game, um, it sort of helps you a lot, like, down the line. So it's something I'm definitely focusing on this season, and I suppose working as hard as I can to try and make that happen.
Because when I've seen you play, Dale, you're not afraid of taking free kicks. Even at previous clubs or with the under-21s with Northern Ireland, you scored a few nice goals from long range. So it isn't something completely alien to you by any means.
No, it's not something probably like you said that I'm not used to, but it's probably just been sort of stats wise. You look at it and you think, well, he hasn't scored enough goals, or for a midfielder, he needs to score more goals. So it's something I'm definitely focusing on a lot more this season. And sort of the assisting aspect of it as well. I mean, I don't really remember sort of that many times creating a lot of goals. I mean, you'd sort of be involved in a lot of chances and be involved in a lot of play, but obviously playing a bit deeper, it's sort of hard to sort of, I suppose, get that sort of assist. And I've been focusing on that as well, and sort of practicing my deliveries and changing up sort of techniques of what's the right thing to do. So no, I'm bringing that into my game, and I'm starting to create a lot of chances, like I said, for others, and I'm enjoying it. Like,
Well, now you're getting to kind of play with the shackles off a little bit as well. Maybe in other teams in the past you've been given a set job and that was all you had to do.
aye, definitely. I suppose, like you said, you sort of, when you're a bit younger, you sort of think, I need to do this, I need to do that, instead of just going out really and just playing a game of football, like sort of putting too much pressure on yourself. So I'm sort of trying to take that sort of mindset away from myself. And I suppose as you get a bit older too, you sort of grow into what you're used to and what you're good at. So thankfully, I'm starting to do that a bit more and a bit more consistently, because I think that's something I probably didn't really have, was consistency when I was a bit younger. And a lot of young players do struggle with that, and it's sort of hard. But the main thing is, as a footballer, is you have to be consistent. And thankfully, I'm being quite consistent at the minute.
What about your teammates then? There's obviously a lot of talented boys in there. There's a lot of new signings as well. Everyone just trying to, I guess, get settled in at the same time as you are.
I suppose there's a few people like me on the same boat, settling into a new club, and like you said, there's a lot of talent there and a lot of good players there. But well, listen, we've got a lot of good footballers, and that can only stem you for the long run. We've got a good squad there, good group of lads. We all get on, so I mean, I think things are going to start coming good soon. So let's hope I'm right.
Do you think you've got a preferred centre midfield partner? You and Gail Bigger-Amana, I've seen obviously have played quite a few times in there together, but there's other options too.
There's loads of options. I mean, the last few weeks I've sort of played with everyone in there. I've played with Gail, like you said. Hervoy came back Saturday. Kieran O'Connor was in there before he got injured, and then obviously Cricky's been in there as well. So no, I mean, we've got a lot of options in midfield, and like I said, probably the last 4 or 5 games we played, it's sort of been someone different. So there's your options, and that's why you have a squad. So no, everyone's got their own sort of ways of playing and their own sort of different techniques, and it's good to sort of play with different people too, I suppose, sometimes, and change it up a bit.
And we should mention Hervoy, obviously, because he had that injury way back in January. And for him to be back playing competitive football again, it's fantastic to see, because he's such a big part of that team, isn't he?
He is. I wasn't here obviously last season, but the lads have told me sort of what he brought last season and sort of what he contributed to. So when you have a player that is out injured, obviously, and that brings that sort of goal threat to your team, you want him in it, I suppose, and to have someone like that back now and sort of building them into games and stuff, it can only be better for us, I suppose.
When it comes to your football, obviously everyone will know your dad, because he was an Irish League legend, Tony Gorman, someone I've been lucky enough to work with. Who's scarier to deal with when you've had a bad game? Mick McDermott, Paul Miller, or your dad? who's going to give you the worst or the harshest advice?
I'd probably say dad, to be honest. You don't really, when you have a bad game, you know yourself, and when you just let's just say when you come in the door, he doesn't really say much to you, like if you have a bad one. but he doesn't really say much if you had a good one either. So it's hard to know when you have a good or bad game.
But you know what? That's maybe a good thing because he knows, the highs can't be too high, the lows can't be too low. So just keep it even.
Definitely. And as a player as well, you know yourself if you had a bad game, or you know yourself if you had a good game. And I mean, he watches the games, so he'll tell me little things he's seen, and sort of more sort of stuff that I need to sort of work on, and instead of he done well, So he's it's good to have someone like that too, because it's part of the more help the better. Like,
And he definitely knows his football, as annoying as that can be for a son to listen to sometimes.
I does. I'll not say too much more about him. It's like talking about him.
The first time I saw you play here, I guess, because obviously I'd seen you across the water, but was with the Northern Ireland under-21s under Ian Baraclough and that incredible campaign, which obviously people still look back on very fondly. I've spoken to several of your teammates from that squad, but I've never spoken to you about it. I was just wondering how special a time was that for you in your career, and what made that team do the things that it did?
It was first of all, it was a great campaign from start to finish. We had some very good results in it, like, and we I'd say the main thing was probably we had a good team spirit. Like, we had probably lads that it was that sort of 96 age group was the sort of age group, and then you've got your younger lads that come through then and play with you. Like, but we had a lot of lads in that team that have been playing with each other since they were 16. So it was probably the first time in probably 3 or 4 years that we all got back together and playing together. So from minute one, we sort of knuckled down and we just thought, let's just give it a crack. Like, and Ian Baraclough, he was very good with it, to be fair. I mean, he didn't sort of come in and almost change everything. It was just he sort of had a lot of trust in us to sort of get on with it ourselves, and it was just a good relationship. And like you said, we did so well. I mean, I think we were 2 points off Spain, who actually went on to win the tournament in the group stage. So, and we actually beat them as well out there. So listen, we had a good team and we had a good belief, and we knew how to play, and we were set up the right ways to play against certain teams. And probably looking back on it now, that's probably helped the national manager that we did so well for him, and he did so well for us, to sort of help him progress now and move to the senior squad. And because that can go both ways, if that doesn't go well for him, I mean, he might not sort of be the senior manager as quick as he has done. So I mean, it's good to see him now step up and hopefully start showing what he can do and bringing it to the senior squad, and hopefully they start doing well in major competitions and qualifying coming up.
It just shows you as well how many good players there were in that squad, and it's shone a light on all of you guys, but too, because it's funny you're saying, it was like the 96 age group. Being born in 1990, I think when I looked on and see Liam Donnelly with that beard, I probably wouldn't have believed he was a 96 age group.
Well, Liam's had that beard since he's about 14, I think. So we're well used to that. No, like you said, we had some great players, and a lot of lads that have sort of gone different ways in their career so far. So no, we had a good team, and like you said, we had a good campaign. Like,
yeah, most certainly. Someone obviously who was a teammate of yours this season, but unfortunately now ruled out through injury, Bobby Burns as well was part of that.
Aye, Bobby was part of that as well. He's been unlucky, to be fair. He came back on loan, and he was starting to look fit and get match fit. So I mean, that's obviously, everyone knows it's a bad injury. But I've seen him in there. He's working every day already. He's out of his cast and he's walking about in the leg. So speedy recovery to him, like, and I'm sure he'll get back better.
It's amazing what they can do. Now, I was saying this to him because I've broken my tib and my fib separately. Obviously, he unfortunately did it at the same time, and he's walking, and there's no cast. Incredible.
No, he's walking about. He's walking about, and he's in doing rehab in the gym and stuff like that. And he was on the bike actually the other day, so he seems to be taking over quite nicely at the moment.
Yeah, no, good to see, and speedy recovery, obviously, to him as well. Uh,
Definitely, yeah.
in terms of the Christmas run-in, because obviously spectators, fans love it. The Christmas run-in is hectic, and that's where you really get a bit of a run of results going your way. A couple of good games for Glentoran here, and you could all of a sudden be talking about, fourth, fifth in the table, and then who knows how much further.
Definitely. Like you said, the fans love it, and I suppose if I was sort of not playing and I was a fan, I'd love it as well because some big games coming up. Starting with Ballymena on Saturday now, and then we move on to, I guess, Linfield, Cliftonville, Portadown. I think we've got over Christmas, so some massive games, and I'm sure the fans will love it. But as a player as well, it's some big games to look forward to, and I'm definitely looking forward to them.
Well, I was going to say that as a player, do you love it? Because, whilst, all your friends who aren't footballers are having very big Christmas dinners and maybe one or two bottles of whatever, you're having to be a lot more disciplined.
Well, I mean, I'm used to it now. I've been sort of, I think this is my first Christmas back here in about 7 years. So I've used to being sort of over there by myself preparing for the game on Boxing Day and 2 or 3 days after Boxing Day. So no, definitely, I love it. I love it, especially Boxing Day. And games are great, and especially the one we have this year. That'll be a different Boxing Day to what I'm used to. But now I'm looking forward to it because obviously being younger and sort of going to watch them games and remembering them games to playing it now is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and it must be special to be able to be a part of those matches. And obviously, I mentioned him, but your dad's been a part of so many of those as well. So it must be a nice thing for your family to go. It's still going, this tradition of a Gorman and a big two derby.
Hi, well, a few of them will be saying that. I don't know about everyone, but no, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure they look forward to it too. It's just a shame they probably can't get it because it'll be at Windsor Park this year. So, well, I'm sure one of them could probably get into it, but he'll not be. I don't want them there, like so. We'll look forward to it, like I said. So.
Yeah, no, well, there's obviously lots of games to go. It's going to be a really interesting season, and just with the Irish Cup draw, well, as we're doing this, we're recording it ahead of the draw. We'll be talking about it later on in the programme, not to confuse anyone how these things work. But you'll obviously be hoping for a favourable draw and a bit of a cup run being the holders.
Aye, definitely. I mean, we'll obviously have a look at the draw, but you obviously want the draw to go your way, I suppose. And like you said, being the holders of a cup, you don't want to be throwing that away easy. Like so, I mean, we're in this tournament now to win it, and we'll be looking out for the draw. So I'm hoping, my brother plays for Institute, so I'll take Institute and get a kick at him.
Nice. That's. I mean, at least you're honest as well. That's what you want, really, isn't it?
Nah. Oh, I'm sure he'd want it too.
Those 50-50s growing up, who would come out on top of them, if you're honest?
Well, it would always be me against them two. So I'd probably come out first, and then I'd be in the ground getting a good thump, like so.
Well, I wasn't sure who I wanted to see get drawn out of the hat, but now I think I do.
Glentoran Institute. There you go. There's your draw.
There you go. You've heard it here first, everybody. Dale, thank you for coming on to the score. Great talking to you.
No problem. Hey, thanks, Michael.